All right. We're back with another live stream. Listen, if you're listening to this show, you're doing the right thing, for sure. Definitely better thing to do to be watching wrestling talk or listening to wrestling talk than to be listening to all these other crazy news channels on YouTube that are just giving bad news about the world. Forget all that. Let's just hang out and talk about AEW. So listen, there's a new AEW Dynamite coming up. So I got to review last week's AEW, and we got to get to that before the next Dynamite comes out, because then it'll just be too late. So I got to get to August 6th AEW Dynamite from last Wednesday, and then we're going to go through whatever happened for AEW over the weekend, namely the Ring of Honor on Honor Club that they aired, and then Collision on Saturday. So, all right, let's see what happened on Dynamite. Without further ado, I guess this is the audience. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, all right? And we got MJF to start the show. He's going to cut a promo. He's backstage. So let's see what he got to say.
Seabiscuit, because of your cowardice, you refuse to give me a world title shot here in AEW unless I execute my contract. One of you schmucks take this. And because of that fact, one of your close friends is going to pay. Mascot Mark Briscoe. I heard you last week. You're worried you're never going to see your brother up again in heaven because of all the sins you want to commit on me and your refusal to repent. Well, I don't know if you heard, Marky, but you are looking in the eyes of the devil. And I got no problem sending you straight to hell. Hell, I'll send you straight back to hell, a.k.a. Dumpster Fire, Delaware, so you can go back to doing what God put you on this earth to do. And that is to be nothing more than a loser, a chicken farmer, a blue-collar bitch. You are not a professional wrestler. You are not a real athlete. You are not a real man. You know what you are? You're not championship material. You, my friend, are white trash that got lucky. That's why these people cheer for you, Mark. They pity you. They feel bad for you. And tonight, Mark Briscoe, I'm afraid your luck's gonna run out. See you in the main event.
All right, pretty solid promo from MJF. If you're new to our show, I give out a rating based on my review system for every segment. And I'm trying to also give out bonus points wherever I can. I'm trying to give this show as high a score as I could, but I'm going to give that promo a thumbs up and add a point to my review. Let's go to the next segment. Looking forward to that main event, MJF and Mark Briscoe. It's been a long time in the making. This is a solid main event tonight, but we're going to skip to the first segment. It's Jon Moxley, and he's going to have a match. He's accompanied by Marina and Wheeler, both of them. And he's facing off against Speedball Mike Bailey. Well, what do you know? Interesting matchup. Kevin Knight, interestingly, comes to the ring, or to the entrance ramp with him, but doesn't come all the way to the ring with him. So Bailey out there by himself with some of the Death Riders out there to watch Jon Moxley's back. Here's the start of the match. All right, so Bailey gets a fast start, and here we go. I got some highlights. Jon Moxley gets in the ref's face, pretty close to the ref's face, but no DQ here. Bailey here is selling an eye poke on the outside. Yeah, Jon Moxley resorted to eye poking, and Marina is there staring him down. If you could see all the way on the other side, Wheeler Yuta is there running interference so that Marina can attack Mike Bailey, get a shot in on him. Yep. And now here comes Kevin Knight because Marina interfered, so he chest bumps Marina. Marina actually gets in his face. She is not, stop doing that. She is not backing down from Kevin Knight. But here is Kevin Knight getting in Jon Moxley's face, and Moxley gives him a little slap, disrespectful to the little youngster. And Kevin Knight takes off his shirt. He's like, do you know how much I work out? Do you realize how much I work out? You really want some of this? So he gets nose to nose with Moxley, and then here's a Mike Bailey spot while the two of them are arguing. Does a backflip onto the outside. How about a half point for Mike Bailey? I like this matchup. I like Mike Bailey. I feel like he hasn't gotten the shine he deserves in AEW like he got in TNA. But regardless, all right, this is still a somewhat of a headlining matchup to me. Mike Bailey and Jon Moxley to open the show. Here's another spot from Bailey on the outside on the guardrail. There you go. Backflip, knees to the back. I'll throw in another half point for Mike Bailey there as he looks very intensely at Wheeler and Marina. Here's a spot as Jon Moxley humiliates Mike Bailey, but Bailey fights back. This leads to this kick out here. I'm skipping ahead. It leads to a Darby Allin spot. So Darby Allin, after everyone is pissed off that Mike Bailey has kicked out and is still in this match, the crowd sees Darby Allin run up behind Wheeler Yuta and suffocate him and drag him away. And even Jon Moxley's like, what the hell? Almost a pin here for Bailey as he almost gets the 3 count and surprises Jon Moxley. But in the end, we get a Death Rider and Jon Moxley wins that match. But immediately, by the way, I'll give that match a half thumbs up. I'll give it a half a point. Wasn't terrible. The interference spot kind of took away from the story of the match itself, but immediately after the match, post-match, Jon Moxley gathers his crew and instructs them to go save Wheeler, I guess. So they're running to save Wheeler Yuta in the back from the dastardly Darby Allin as Kevin Knight checks on his boy, Speedball Mike Bailey. I mentioned earlier Bailey wasn't out there with them for some reason. He went out there to accompany him to the entrance ramp, but you know they knew there would be people on the other side to cheat. So I really don't know why Kevin Knight didn't have his back there. He had his back once they started cheating, but I don't know. All right, and then the not afterbirth, but post-match with Moxley and Marina running after Darby. I guess I'll give that a half a point for that aspect because I guess we'll see more of Moxley and Darby coming up. And they had a big storyline on Collision where Darby almost killed Moxley, tried to throw him on the train tracks, and he got stopped. But all right, there you go. That's the opening match. It was Speedball Mike Bailey and Jon Moxley. I gave it some credit. I thought it was pretty good. But all right, I got a backstage segment next. I'm going to play. It's an interview. Alex Windsor and Tony Storm, who are feuding with Athena.
Alex Windsor, tonight you are in a 4-way matchup. The winner of this match going on to challenge Mercedes Moné for her TBS championship in an interpromotional 4-way match at Forbidden Door, where Tony, your championship is also on the line against Athena.
What a menagerie of bruising, brawling bitches. I used to pray for times like these.
Billy Starks, Queen Aminata, Sky Blue. You girls better hit me hard enough for the back row to hear tonight, because the only name you will be hearing is Alex Windsor!
And if there's anything I know about this clearly non-sexual friendship, is you can beat us down, but you can't beat us off.
What Tony is trying to say is that you can't give me any lick without me giving my lick back. Oh my God, I'm doing it as well.
Tonight is your moment, and then it's on to Forbidden Door, where I will reverse my London luck. And Athena, if you want to whip out your John Hancock and wet the ink, then we can do this right here tonight in Cleveland. As it says on the Ohio license plates, let's tape up your tits and tango!
I mean, I saw those license plates.
So Tony Storm dances off with Alex Windsor. She found someone who's willing to be just as silly as she is with her. So there you go. A match made in heaven. They've been good friends. All right, but I'll give that backstage segment a little halvesy. I'll give it a half a point. Tony Storm, always spot on with her lines, never fumbles around. Excellent execution. And her being friends with Alex Windsor, why not? Why not? Gotta get someone over. Why not give her the rub from the most popular wrestler in AEW, Tony Storm, that is. All right, backstage, we got a continuation. Jon Moxley is still chasing after Darby Allin. Let's see what's going on here. They're in the parking lot. So, looks like there's a body bag in the middle of the road. Presumably Wheeler Yuta is in there. So Marina's checking, and they get honked at by a car horn, and that's Darby Allin. So Darby drives by. Jon Moxley is pissed as they've suffocated Wheeler Yuta and they let him free, and he has a Forbidden Door picture or a note taped on his face. So Darby throwing out the challenge for Forbidden Door, it seems. I'll give that segment a half a point. I don't know. Darby Allin just kind of honked at them and went away. I think Wheeler Yuta was the funniest one there, who was suffocating in that freaking body bag, and he used him as a vehicle, taped a note on his head, Forbidden Door. So Moxley versus Allin, I guess, at Forbidden Door. There you go. All right, at least we figured something out there. Skipping to the next segment. We got a stretch limo coming out for Mercedes Moné. Very long stretch limo. A nice ass stretch limo, but she's going to get interviewed here by Renee. So Renee Moxley interviewing Mercedes Moné here earlier in the day.
Is here in Cleveland. 8 belts, Moné back on Dynamite. Mercedes, congratulations, adding yet another championship to your collection. But Mercedes, let's talk about All in Texas. We've not seen you since then. That match between you and Toni Storm was so incredible. This was deemed the best women's wrestling match in the history of the sport before the match even happened. Granted, you didn't walk away with that victory, but this is a match that we are all going to remember for...
Renee, don't be such a mark.
She couldn't even get her question out. Mercedes just called her a mark and left. All right, I'll give that a half a point. Kind of funny. I know Mercedes be calling fans marks sometimes if they're way too into it. She works for the biggest mark in the business, but okay. If that's an insult, I'm a mark. Shit. All right, next segment. I got Alex Windsor, and she's facing off, or she's teaming up. Or what is going on here? What is the match? I'm sorry. I think it's a four-way. Yeah, it's a four-way match. I'm sorry. So it's Alex Windsor, Queen Aminata, Sky Blue, and Billy Starks, who is with her mentor, Athena, and a big pop for Toni Storm, who is not really involved in this, but decides to come out anyway. She's the world champion, and I guess she's friends with Alex Windsor. So it's a four-way match, and the stipulation here is that the winner gets a TBS title shot against Mercedes Moné. So Mercedes is not there, of all people. But all right, off the ring apron, we got a senton from Alex Windsor. Why not? I always give those little half points for their sentons off the ring apron. It's an easy little move. Wows the crowd. Why not? Get in there, do a little cannonball senton. And then here's a dive from Billy Starks that came out of nowhere. I'll give that one a half point too. That one, good flow there. Just coming off another dive. Wowing the crowd, as they say. But all right, Toni Storm is keeping an eye on Athena here. And those two are going to have it out at Forbidden Door. So a little bit of storyline for them here during this match. Strange move, I would say. Here's Alex Windsor turning over a combination of submissions like it's a figure, because she's got a headlock on on who is that? She's got a headlock on her over here. Queen Aminata's behind her. Very interesting move. But yeah, Billy Starks is selling this like somehow Sky Blue's head is doing damage on her rectum somehow. I don't know. That is Sky Blue behind her, though. I forgot who was the fourth person in the match. I couldn't really tell with her face being stuck up Billy Starks' booty. But all right, I can't give this any points, although it was an interesting spot. I don't think Billy Starks should be selling anything here. That doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Moving on. Sky Blue here, as you could see during the replay, Tiny in the corner. She takes a steel chair out and uses it on Queen Aminata. So the steel chair spot, I guess they said hell with the rules. There are no rules. It's a 4-way, so they didn't even catch the steel chair being used. Sky Blue sets up the steel chair, and she's the one who ends up going through the chair herself. Queen Aminata reverses it. Good selling there from Sky Blue. I'll give that spot a little half point. At least the camera did catch that one. But enter Athena, who tries to cheat on Billy Stark's behalf, and Toni Storm ends up nailing her. And man, the pop here, you know what? I gotta play this one with audio. Listen to when Toni Storm gets involved in this match.
Athena, that's Athena. Trying to intervene on behalf of her minion, but timeless Toni Storm there.
So hilarious, because the crowd's basically dead for these matches, but the only person they cheer for is Toni Storm, who basically gets Athena out of this match. And the finish here is Windsor reverses a roll-up by Billy Starks. There it is, the reversal into a roll-up. Sorry, I guess I wrote that down wrong. And Alex Windsor gets the win. Alright, so she's the #1 contender for Mercedes' TBS title. Toni Storm is there to cheer for her. I'll give that match, I don't know. I didn't really expect anyone else to win that one. I don't think I'm going to give it any points. It was a little vehicle for, you know what, I'll change my mind. I'll give it a half a point. At least Mercedes and Athena got to fight a little bit. The crowd got to see that. So that was cool, but sorry, not Mercedes. Athena and Toni Storm. Athena and Toni Storm fought. Mercedes comes out post-match. So there she is. And of course, Mercedes and Toni Storm have had their differences in the past, so Toni Storm gives her a look. Mercedes is there to share her belts. Interesting spot here. She hands all her belts one by one to Aubrey Edwards, who grabs them and stacks them up. I guess she's going to do this at the match as well. Kind of a funny little thing they do. But for some reason, yeah, Alex Windsor's looking on like, all right, you got all them belts, huh? For some reason, Toni Storm enters the ring, maybe to back up Alex Windsor. I don't know. But as she enters the ring, Athena is not far behind. There she is on the side, Toni Storm. And Athena's kind of lurking. She got beat up by Toni Storm during the match. So she's going to give her the O face. She's going to give Toni Storm the O face. There you go. And then as Alex Windsor is distracted, a backstabber from Mercedes onto her, selling the backstabber there. And Mercedes and Athena stare off post-match. I guess she looks at her Ring of Honor title. Mercedes does. She's a belt collector. But they kind of don't do anything. They just kind of give each other a serious stare. And Athena walks off as Mercedes sitting there trying to look mighty fly, I guess. And there you go. That's the end of that segment. All right, so we didn't get anything from Mercedes and Athena. Cool little moment. I guess I'll give that post-match I'll give it a thumbs up. I'll give it a full point. I don't know. I think it was a little weird that Toni Storm and Mercedes were trying to rehash something. But I think she was more there to back up Alex Windsor. Although Alex Windsor didn't really need backup. But I guess they had to get Toni Storm and Athena in the ring somehow so they could have their little spot. But okay. Interesting. I'm moving on, though. Alright, next up we got a backstage segment with the former EVPs. Very prominent figures on the show now, more so than when they were quote-unquote EVPs. They seem to still be EVPs because they're giving themselves a very prominent role. But regardless, here they are getting interviewed by Renee. Let's see how they do.
Guys, I am here with the with the Young Bucks, sorry. Guys, tonight in the World Tag Team Title Eliminator Tournament, you guys are taking on Brodito. Have you guys seen this team? They've just been on the up and up. Did you guys see that move that they did last week?
Kidding me? The disrespect, Renee. We're still founding fathers around here. Show us some. Hey! Hey, production guy! You bark.
Oh, good point.
Hey, well, while we've got you, I'd like to bend your ear. How about you and your team treat us with a little bit more respect this. The last couple of weeks, you've jobbed us out. You give us the worst entrances ever, okay? And hey, if you don't, heads will roll. We want the LED. We want the freaking pyro. We want all the bombs, everything. Okay?
No disrespect.
Hey, what's that? No. Hey, and you tell Justin Roberts, this is how you introduce a couple of stars.
Yes.
Okay? Word for word, verbatim.
Go.
Yeah.
Get your ass back there.
All right.
Tell them. I'll do.
People are so fickle around here.
Best of luck to our ex-EVPs tonight as they take on the new hot tag team, Brodito.
All right. Unfortunate backstage segment. I got to take off a point for the Young Bucks here. I've given them a lot of points for in-ring work, but I guess on the backstage segment, still the same kind of not very realistic sounding acting, unfortunately. But okay, moving on for now. We got an in-ring segment. Renee is in the ring. Looks like we got some kind of segment going on. Let's see what we got.
And the respectable Renee Paquette.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring, accompanied by Don Callis and the Don Callis family, the new TNT champion, Kyle Fletcher.
All right, it's Kyle Fletcher. So she's introducing the Don Callis family. They do show a replay of last Collision when Kyle Fletcher won the TNT title from Dustin Rhodes in a crazy hardcore match. I thought it was a good match. I gave it a lot of points because it was just wild. Kind of made that Collision something special to me, I thought. Some people thought it kind of went too far. But regardless, all right, let's see what Kyle Fletcher and the Don Callis family have
Kyle
to say.
Fletcher, it was a hard-fought, gruesome battle against Dustin Rhodes, but finally you have this TNT championship.
Let me just interrupt you, Renee. The real question you should be asking is the question on everybody's minds. Why am I building the largest numerical faction in the history of pro wrestling? Very simple. Power. And when you want power in this business, cast your eyes on the gold. Because when you've got the gold, you control destiny. And ever since Okada has aligned himself with the Don Callis family, he's got not one, not two, but 3 belts that are in the family. And then, my favorite moment of the year, Kyle Fletcher became the TNT champion. And just like Okada cast Kenny Omega to the scrap heap of wrestling history, Kyle, I think you may have retired a legend in winning that belt. Tell him.
I don't know. I think AEW could have done a little better job of zooming in on some audience people. They were obviously trying to boo Don Callis there. They have a good time with that, so they kind of didn't maximize their opportunity there.
Dustin Rhodes this past week on Collision got exactly what he deserved for stealing my moment at All In. Now, Dustin may have had a storied career, but a 60-year-old man does not deserve to be in the same ring as the protostar. But hey, that is not the only one of your favorites that I've put on the shelf recently, is it? Who knows if we're ever going to see Adam Cole again? And that's all thanks to me.
Man, those glasses, I gotta point out, they're just too much. With the little things hanging off of them.
Now, I may have achieved my destiny in winning this championship, but this is only the beginning of my legacy. Every man that tries to take this from me will suffer the same fate. Because I will be the greatest TNT champion of all time on my way to becoming the greatest of all time.
And you know, Renee, please, I have something to say to Kyle. I know that you are going to be the greatest TNT champion of all time. And when you're truly great, they memorialize you with art. Your story is told on the canvas of an oil painting. I have spent the last 2 days, Renee and Kyle, slaving away. I can still feel the oil paint under my fingers. So I've got something, you know, I think what it is. You haven't seen it. My question for you, Kyle, is how bad do you want to see it?
Oh, so bad. So bad.
No. How bad do you want it? Do you want to see it?
Oh, take it off, Don, please. Take it.
I'm taking it off right now.
He painted this himself, huh? No AI. Taz is like, what the hell?
Just Don loaded up on the protein. Holy crap. Don didn't look like that in his prime.
Don Finland, perhaps.
This is...
So proud.
Don, it seriously, it's beautiful. It may be the greatest gift I have ever received. Man.
Fletcher's almost crying here.
But I'm not mistaken. I know I owe all of this success to you. And hey, I want to do you proud. I want to do the family proud and be the greatest champion I can be. I want to be a fighting champion, not for these people, but for you, the family, and for me. So, my very first defense of this championship will be this Saturday on Collision. Because I will be the greatest champion you have ever seen. And it does not matter who shows up because the result will be the same. I will have my hand raised. And you better get used to this image. Because I will be the TNT champion for a very, 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 very long time.
Kyle Fletcher, I mean, that is a tall order even for an athlete of his stature. The damage he suffered at the hands of Dustin Rhodes last week to jump right back into the fray to put the TNT Championship on the line live this Saturday.
All right. Let's close down this segment. I gotta give a review, I guess. A little too much time for the TNT champion getting in-ring promo time. I think they could have just done that on the entrance ramp or something real quick. Let him cut a promo. They sure let him talk for a while, but okay, I guess they let him fight for a while too. So, all right, I'm going to move on to the next segment. I gave it a half a point. Next, we got a replay. Came from 3 weeks ago. This was when Edge speared Stokely Hathaway, who gave Edge a stipulation that somehow he swung that if Edge attacked FTR, he'd be fired. So in that case, he could only attack Stokely. So, all right. They got a little feud going on between Stokely and Edge. Edge then enlisted the Hurt Syndicate to beat up Stokely, which hasn't really been followed up, really. but that threw a wrench into the whole MJF Hurt Syndicate thing, but that's another story. But regardless, all right, so they do remind us that Edge speared Stokely 3 weeks ago. We do got a backstage interview, though. It's Edge. Let's see what we got going on here.
The Concerto by Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. So what is your take on everything going on?
Alicia, I don't know what my take is. The guy came out there with, like you said, zero remorse. His apology wasn't an apology. He's learned nothing and has no concept of what he's been the last few years, and that's an asshole. Here's what I do know. He's got his hands
He did admit he was an asshole.
full with Kip, Nick, and Shayna, which brings me to who I have my hands full with, and that's FTR and Stokely. Now, I know I can't get within 200 feet of you guys, but that also means you can't get within 200 feet of me, and that works out pretty good, because I got off the phone with Tony Khan. And next week, for the first time ever, one-on-one, it's the Rated R Superstar versus Stokely. Oh yeah, and FTR, if you guys interfere, your whole restraining order is null and void, so you have a choice. Do you interfere and open up the door to me kicking your asses? Or do you stand there and throw Stokely to the wolf? And trust me, I will tear him apart slowly, piece by piece. Choice is yours. See you next week. See you, Alicia.
Wow, 1 week.
All right, so Edge has figured a way to get his hands on Stokely Hathaway. Apparently, he just marched into Tony Khan's office and asked for a match. So yeah, apparently you could just go into Tony Khan's office and propose whatever to him and he'll be okay. Like Stokely goes, hey, I have a proposal. What if Edge touches FTR, he gets fired? Tony Khan's like, that's a great idea, I like it. And then Edge like, what if I face Stokely next week? I don't know. I think it's kind of silly. What do I think of this segment? I'm not giving this segment any points for the promo itself. For the idea of Stokely versus Edge, I'm not really excited for that either. There's like a seed of an idea there. But maybe if this went longer to the point where we really hated Stokely Hathaway and wanted to see Edge get his hands on him real bad. But we don't feel that way right now. So this is just going to be a normal gimmick match, a trope, as you would say, with the manager facing off against the wrestling superstar in the ring. It's happened before. But all right, I'm moving on. Let's see what we got next. We got a match. It's Bandito and Brody King. Brodito, as they're called. And this is a tournament match for the chance to face the World Tag Team Champions at Forbidden Door. They're facing the Young Bucks. So the Young Bucks, all kinds of things went wrong during their entrance as they yelled at the production crew earlier, but the production crew is going to screw them over some more here as the entrance screen only comes up part way and they have to try to pull it up, or they just squeezed underneath it in the end. Really pissed off at the crowd for laughing at them. They got this. Sometimes they're kind of funny to me. When they don't speak, their facial expressions are okay, but the speaking seems really fake when they talk. But all right, no pyro. There was noise that scared them, but no pyro. Only 2 little puffs of fireworks there. So they're trying to fuck with them. The Young Bucks are jaw-jacking with the crowd here, saying they're gonna beat them up. This was a production. They even got the names wrong, Max and Jeremy. To make this seem like they didn't care about them, it was a bit of a production. But yeah, I don't know. This whole thing about them not being EVPs, they're more stars on the show now than when they were actually EVPs backstage. But I don't know. I guess basically what them not being EVPs anymore meant is that they're going to take more of an on-screen role and be EVPs. So there you go. The Young Bucks are jobbers. Here's a sign from the audience. We got to give that a half a point. The fact that it got on TV too. They are heels, but all right. Skipping into the match, we got a spot here from Bandito and Brody King. A moonsault. All right, nice moonsault from Bandito with help from Brody King. Here's a spot from Matt Jackson on the outside with a looked like a stunner off the apron, but I got to give it a half point because his butt hit the floor. That was an interesting move. And then right after that, Nick Jackson with an Escalera. I'll always give that a point, or at least a half a point. Give it something. Nice move to see. Throwing out everything they got, the Young Bucks do, as they always do. Getting all their shit in. Cannonball senton from Brody King, catched by the Young Bucks. That's kind of funny. All right, at least we're getting some points on the board here with some of these spots. Here's a rocket launch from Bandito. Another nice looking high spot. I'll give that a half point too. He is fired up, Bandito is, as you could tell by the look on his face. But here, Matt Jackson gets out of the way of this catapult move that Brodito do, which is one of their best moves, into a Canadian destroyer. And this TK driver, though, it's going to be a false finish, as Bandito is the Ring of Honor World Champion, so he's not going to be an easy guy to beat. So the crowd goes wild for this false finish. This was a pretty match that got the crowd pretty much into this match. Sorry, they got the crowd into this match pretty well, I'm trying to say. Here's a blockbuster off the top rope by Bandito. This is a wild move, wild move. I've seen that before on Ring of Honor, but I will give it a point just for the difficulty level of it and how it looks. It looks pretty good, but let's see. That is the win, yeah. That blockbuster off the top rope, Bandito pins Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson is too late to make the save, and he is stunned as they're out of the tournament. The FTR versus Young Bucks match that everyone thought was going to happen in the final, it's not going to happen. And Bandito and Brody King get made tonight by the Young Bucks. They pick up the win. Interesting, interesting. All right. Well, what should I say about this match? I'll give it a thumbs up, even for the booking. The booking was correct. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the Young Bucks would put someone over like this, and that Tony Khan would let them put someone over. But all right, interesting, interesting. Next up, I got a video package that I might play. It's Mark Briscoe and MJF.
MJF! There are many reasons why MJF is the most hated man in professional wrestling, and there is no better example than his verbal and physical assaults on Mark Briscoe.
You brought my brother's name forth. No one will ever respect you as much as your brother Jay. You brought it forth again.
It shouldn't have been me in that accident. It should have been you.
Shame on me if I don't obliterate your ass. Get your ass out here.
Mascot Mark, just because you sound serious doesn't mean I have to take you seriously. But see, now I have to prove a point because Seabiscuit said I'm a gutless coward.
What about now, Hangman?
The hatred went international last week as the self-styled American hero returned to Arena Mexico and defeated Averno to capture the
CMLL World Championship. You are looking at the best professional wrestler on God's green earth today.
Tonight, and Briscoe finally shut MJF up for good in the name of Mark's late brother Jay.
For the first time, I really feel like I may never see my brother again if I kill your ass in cold blood.
Or is Maxwell Jacob Friedman truly better than Mark Briscoe?
And you know it.
All right, interesting. That was nothing new there. No new promos from anybody, but we did learn that MJF went to CMLL and won the CMLL World Championship. All right, well, crossover there. I guess I didn't hear about that. That's the first I'm learning about it. Next up, we got a backstage thing with the Hurt Syndicate, which involves MJF. So they're going to get interviewed here, the Hurt Syndicate. So let's see what happens.
Of course, going on to face you guys for your tag titles at Forbidden Door. What do you guys see in a tag team like Brodito?
Oh, they're magnificent, and I'd like to extend to them a huge congratulations. And furthermore, I'd like to give best wishes to the final two teams to meet up for an opportunity to meet up with the Hurt Syndicate. Whoever we face at Forbidden Door, we will be all too happy to hurt them.
Montel.
With all due
Lashley and Benjamin exited the room, by the way, as MJF walks in.
respect, you have known me since I was 18 years old. We don't need Bob. We don't need Shelton. We just need each other. And together, we can win that world championship.
Max, you don't get it, man. You don't get it. Now you're talking about we? I told you, if you join the syndicate, we hurt people. And since you joined us, all you've been talking about is me, I, my. Just like Bobby said, man. Your ego is more than anybody can stand, and that's coming from me. So, it is what it is, brother. And as my last act of kindness to you, because I do love you like a little brother, we will leave you in one healthy peace so that you can pursue your big, beautiful belt.
It's not personal, it's just business.
See, that's where you're wrong, Max. I do love you like a little brother, and I hope you fail in your endeavor, because if you succeed, Bobby Lashley is coming for you. And it won't be business. It will be very personal.
All right, that's it. That is it with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. He's out. That was the third thumbs down from MVP. So yes, the experiment is over. Unfortunately, I'll have to give this segment a thumbs down and take off a point for AEW Dynamite. That was way too quick. They didn't do that storyline very well at all. I'm kind of disappointed, but it's okay. We spent weeks and weeks and weeks of MJF trying to get into the Hurt Syndicate. They hung out with him for 2 weeks, and they think he's too selfish and egotistical. What the fuck? They knew that already, but okay. Fine, he's out. At least he's fucking done with them. Fuck them anyways. Hurt Syndicate, whatever, bro. They're not even, I don't know why they're so over. They look buff, but they don't say anything. Shelton Benjamin isn't that special. Lashley, whatever. All right. Well, I still would like to see MJF versus Lashley at some point, just so MJF can give him his comeuppance that he deserves. But all right, next up we got Stokely with FTR. He's pissed off. He's just been booked in a match with Edge. So let's see what they all got to say.
Guys, I just found out from Cope that next week on AEW Dynamite, it is going to be Stokely Hathaway against Cope one-on-one. What are your thoughts?
Alicia, as if we didn't have enough stress with the tag team tournament finals next week, now we have you, Adam. Adam, we see right through you. We know exactly what you're doing. And just remember, we got this band for your health and your well-being. We want Lyric and Ruby to grow up with a father. We want Beth to live life with a loving husband. Please, Adam, don't make us do this to you.
Yeah, Adam, we see through you. We know you better than anybody. We know your games. We even told Big Stoke he didn't have to be in Cincinnati next week, but he insists. Do you know why? Because he's the bigger man, because he's the braver man. But when he's done with you, Adam, we can't be held responsible for what Big Stoke does.
You know what, Adam? I can't believe at your big age you have chosen to do this. I mean, look at me. I'm not a professional wrestler. I represent the greatest tag team alive today, FTR. I'm also injured. So we see through you, Adam. You're a bully. And if you think I haven't been in a fight before, you're wrong, Adam. I'm short. I'm bald. I can't get any hoes. I've been fighting my entire life.
You can get hoes.
I can't get any hoes. You know what? I'm going to throw Stokely a nice little thumbs up there for that one.
Next week, the fight continues in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm going to do it because that's what my boss asked me to do. And I'm going to do it with a smile on my face. And I'm going to have an even bigger smile on my face when you have to go home Wednesday night and look at your wife who has the head of a micro brawler and your future juvenile delinquent kids and tell them that Big Stoke pinned you in the ring. Just like that. Top guys out.
Man. All right, you know what? I'm going to give that whole segment a thumbs up too for that whole promo. Good line. Good promo. I'm at 13 points on my Dynamite review. I'm surprised that I like that promo. We're going to see Stokely coming up on Collision. He's going to get a warm-up match ahead of that. But yeah, some venomous attacks there on Edge as the other guys are like telling him to stop. Like, damn, what are you saying? But all right, let's see what happens there. I guess it'll be very interesting who the referee is, because it seems like the referee's going to play a big part. No stipulation names, just a match. So if FTR can get the referee distracted, maybe they can help Stokely somehow. But all right, next up we got a video package for Okada and Swerve Strickland. It uses old promos, so nothing new here. I'm just going to skip it. But yeah, they're going to face off for the unified title at Forbidden Door. But all right, Swerve is here. Swerve is getting interviewed by Renee on the entranceway. So let's listen to Swerve Strickland.
Swerve Strickland, it is now official at Forbidden Door. It'll be you versus Kazuchika Okada for the AEW Unified Championship. Okada is arguably the best big match wrestler on the planet. As if that wasn't enough, are you concerned about the Don Callis family factor?
Quite frankly, I don't have much to be concerned with Don Callis, because he's not even going to have to be ringside for this, being the Unified Championship rules and all. Matter of fact, the last time that Don Callis was ringside for one of my championship matches, me and my man Prince Nana here put him on his ass, and I walked away still AEW World Champion.
All right, I got to press pause there. I guess that's the first time I've heard anything mentioned of unified title rules like the Continental title rules, which they totally threw out the window at All In Texas. So what the fuck? Because at All In Texas, I was waiting for some kind of explanation for, is it going to be Continental no interference rules? And now they're bringing it back. What the hell? Makes no sense. Thumbs down for logical plot hole there. 1 point off my Dynamite review, but I will surely discuss that later because the Continental rules are very important to me personally. But I'm going to move on with this promo.
Last year's Forbidden Door, I had to put down someone that I hold near and dear to my heart, a good friend of mine in Will Ospreay. And if I did that to my friend and family, what do you think I'm going to do to you, Okada? So Okada, the best big match wrestler in the world there ever was, Japanese wrestling legend, current unified champion. All of those things are factually true, and I agree with a few of them. But when they say that you're a generational wrestler that comes around once every 1,000 years, while I'm something that's never been seen before. There's never been a Swerve Strickland. After I'm done, there will never be another one afterwards. Three different occasions Okada has come at me. One of them going all the way back to Bad Blood and hell, as of recently, the last 2 weeks in Chicago, he stared me in my eye, and I saw nothing. If anything, he looked in my eye, and he saw death. I put the fear of God into that man. This isn't just a big match for the fans. This isn't just a big match for All Elite Wrestling. This isn't just a big match for the rest of the world. This is a big match for you, Okada, and it's a big match for you because you are facing off against the most dangerous man in All Elite Wrestling, and that is me. But this isn't just about you. This is about my redemption too, and the chip that I have on my shoulder, because I lost 2 of the biggest matches of my career back-to-back times in London. One of them being the main event of the World Championship match. So I devised myself a little plan. So for me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue my legacy by defeating the real, the literal Japanese legend. Then I will stand in the middle of that ring, in the middle of the O2 Arena, over the defeated body that is Kazuchika Okada. And while Don Callis cries in the corner like the little bitch that he is, I'll have my arm raised with the Unified Championship in my hand. And everybody in London, England will scream and chant my name, whose house?
gave Swerve time to put himself over there. I listened to him, but I didn't find anything special about it. I think he just talked through his promo there. I don't know. I don't see the charisma, but he's great in the ring. Really great in the ring. Moving on. Next segment we got is a backstage interview. It's Mark Briscoe, who is ironically getting interviewed by MJF's girlfriend, who he's facing tonight. But I guess they're going to leave that out of the canon.
Mark Briscoe, you have a huge night ahead of you, as in tonight's main event, you're going to face MJF one-on-one in a grudge match.
That's right, and the time for words is behind us. Tonight, I'm going to do my talking with ease. MJF, the Day of Atonement is here. And tonight, you will pay for your sins, son.
Mark, if you are to win tonight's match against MJF, this would mark your 4th consecutive main event win, which some would think could maybe put you in the contendership for the AEW Men's World Championship.
Mark, I've known you 13, 14 years now. PWX, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and here. And I always looked up to and admired the Briscoes. But the person that you have had to be, the person that you've decided to be every day for these past few years, I might admire that even more. So if you win tonight, and I know as good as anyone else that you can, I hope Alicia's right. I hope you are the next one to challenge for the World Championship. So tonight, good luck.
All right, Hangman Page with the respect there for Mark Briscoe. I'm not giving this any points, though. Very subdued promo from Mark Briscoe. We're going to get the match later on. But before that, we got a backstage interview. It looks like Queen Aminata is with Renee.
Queen Aminata, unfortunately, you were not successful out there tonight, so you will not be moving on to Forbidden Door to challenge Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. I've got to imagine that emotions are running pretty high right now.
Yes, Renee. Honestly, last time I faced Juicy Monet, I knew I could beat her.
Aminata, baby, I'm so sorry. I know things did not go your way tonight, but I think you did so great. You did so great, and we're gonna take care of Sky, and we're also gonna take care of Julia and Tekla. Saturday in Collision. It's going to be Triangle Madness. You, me, Ty Mello.
Beautiful. Just women supporting women. This is amazing. And Willow, you showed up for me last week. And now here I am showing up for you and you and you. And in honor of womanhood. Speech.
Is that Daddy for real?
You know what's for real? You say that you've been moving on. You've focused on yourself, but you've done anything but that. I'm here to do 3 things. I'm here to smile, here to win matches, and straighten out anyone who gets in the way of that. So when you're ready to take that seriously, when you're ready to do that, then you can talk to me.
Well,
what?
What the heck happened there? So Chris Statlander came in as Willow was encouraging Queen Aminata, talking about their upcoming match, but Statlander walks in like nothing happened, like all that feud never happened, let's just be friends again. And Willow again is like, no, you're crazy. And then Statlander throws a bunch of pieces of paper at them and runs away playfully. What the fuck? Oh my god. I'm taking off 2 points on my Dynamite review. I'm sorry. I'm over Willow and Statlander. If it's gonna go somewhere, have it go somewhere. What is all this that's going on with this dragging it out? I'm sorry. This is a waste of TV time for me. But I'm moving on. Let's see. Are we finally at the main event? Yes, it's Mark Briscoe and MJF. This is what we're waiting for. Finally. This is a match. So I got to start the match. Let's see. The match starts obviously hot. MJF tries to get at Mark Briscoe, and it's on. All right, let's see. We got some highlights here. I'm going to skip around. They fight into the crowd. All right. Here's Waylon. Here's Mark Briscoe wailing on MJF out on the stairwell. I got a spot here. Let's see. It's Mark Briscoe with, I don't even know what to call that, but I'll give it a half a point as he jumps out of the crowd and snaps MJF's neck. onto the ground on the outside on the concrete. Here comes the table. So the table's set up for later. This is going to come into play later on. But all right, so MJF hides behind the ref here and rakes the eyes. All right, cool. Nice little simple heel spot. I'll throw it a half a point for MJF doing what MJF does. But moving on with the match, MJF is pretty cocky and proud of himself. He's working Mark Briscoe's ribs here as a little storyline in the match. Mark Briscoe hulking up as MJF begs off. So cool match, I will say. Prototypical match. MJF here rolls out of the ring, but eats a tope con hero. All right, that's another nice looking spot. Catches Mark Briscoe flying out of the ring. Looks safe, look good. And Mark Briscoe is going to try to put MJF through the table, but no, MJF runs away, gets away this time. Briscoe busted open somehow, bleeding from the mouth. But yeah, he's going to try it again. So he's going to go up to the top rope, has MJF on the table a little later on. But again, MJF gets out of the way, and Mark Briscoe's just going to eat it. The elbow drop through the table. He beats the 10 count, but MJF here with a heat seeker, and that's basically the finish, though, as MJF does pin Mark Briscoe, but the referee misses Briscoe's foot on the rope and calls for the bell anyways. MJF here clears the evidence as he sees the ref didn't see it, and he's going to take the win. So the CMLL World Champion gets a big victory on Dynamite that he didn't really deserve. But I'll still give the match a thumbs up. The booking in the end, I think it got Mark Briscoe out of it. He still looks strong as they're trying to make him look strong. MJF is fine. It was a cool little match. And there's an afterbirth. So post-match, here's another segment I'm going to review. It's MJF attacking Mark Briscoe, pounding him on the head, getting all fired up. He's going to use the diamond ring when, I think Hangman Page he does use the diamond ring. So he nails Briscoe with the diamond ring. Hangman Page does come out now, but he could have saved Mark Briscoe a little earlier. But okay, he looks all serious, drops his belt, and it's on. He fights with MJF here. But here comes security. Not a long fight. They pull them apart, and that's the end of the show. Mark Briscoe's fucked up. Hangman Page is going to check on him. And actually, MJF and Hangman Page do get down one more time as they fight into the crowd. Hangman tries to chase him down one more time. All right, so security's trying to pull MJF away. Somehow they get back to the ringside area, and in the end, though, MJF is just going to run for the hills after a little brawl, basically, and that's that. So they're headed towards a collision course, although MJF doesn't want to cash in his contract to do it. Somehow or another, looks like we're going to get to that match soon. But okay, I'll give the post-match here. I'll give it a half a point. What did MJF do? He beat up Mark Briscoe. Hangman saved him, and they had a brawl and a pull apart. I don't know. It was all right. But overall, not a very exciting episode of Dynamite. To me, MJF is out of the Hurt Syndicate is the biggest news, I think. And that was a big waste of time. But all right, we got to continue on. We got to watch Ring of Honor now and Collision. So let me take a break. I'll reset the score back to 0, and we'll review Ring of Honor from the night after this, August 7th. Ring of Honor on Honor Club. All right, we're here at Ring of Honor from August 7th, Honor Club. Let's run through the results. I'm not going to give it too much attention, but I'm going to hit the highlights and the finishes, give you some results so you can know what's going on over there at least. And you won't be totally out of the loop. Some of this stuff has to do with AEW sometimes. But all right, let's jump to the first match. I'm going to set a modest plus-minus here of +5 points for Ring of Honor. I'm giving out points at the end of each segment, and for anything that I can give out bonus points to. I'm trying to give a high score, but I'm not having high hopes for this episode of Ring of Honor, I must say, just because I generally don't have high hopes for Ring of Honor. But the first match, it's Gringo Loco and it's Bandito, the world champions. All right. It's basically like a proving ground match, I guess, or eliminator match, however you want to call it. Gringo Loco with a chance to earn a title shot with a win. Kicking off the action here, Gringo Loco. Here's a spot that I'm going to give a point to for Gringo Loco with a top rope dive, and Bandito catched him. Man, that sucks for Bandito, but that looked pretty smooth. Gringo Loco is pretty athletic for a guy with a big belly like that. Here's another spot. Spanish Fly, it seems. I'll give it a half a point. These guys are putting on a show for the audience, but Gringo Loco was frustrated that he couldn't pick up the win here with everything he did. But in the end, he misses a moonsault and then a crucifix driver from Bandito, and his finisher is a frog splash. An homage to Eddie Guerrero, and he picks up the win, retains. I'll give it a half a point. For an opening match here on Ring of Honor on Honor Club, it had some high spots. But alright, so next up, we got a video package. Místico. He's in the main event tonight in a tag team match, so they highlighted him, gave some, you know, talked about him in CMLL and his history and everything, really talked him up, played him up. That's going to come into play later on, though. But for right now, I got a tag team match. It's Satnam Singh and Jay Lethal with Karen Jarrett. How sad. How freaking sad. They're facing two jobbers today. All right, so here's a good look at Karen Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's wife, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, who they look like they were going to try to make into a serious Ring of Honor character again a number of months ago, but they just forgot about that, and now they're throwing these two in a tag match together. But okay, I'm skipping to the finish. This was an easy match, really nothing to see here. It's a win for Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh. I don't know what that does for anybody. No points for me here at all, 0 points. But I'm moving on. Let's see what I got next. I got a backstage segment with Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. So they are buddies here. They've been buddies for a while, tagging up a little bit, accompanying each other to the ring. But let's see what they got in terms of the promo chops.
Over the last few months, my boy Blake and I have not only been on a roll, but we have really been figuring it out as a tag team together.
That's right. Everything has been clicking on every single level. And you know what? I think it's time we take it to the next level.
You think what I'm thinking?
Oh, yeah. The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships.
All right. They got their point across there. Not very charismatic or anything. No points for me there. But all right, Lee Johnson and Blake Christian against the Sons of Texas. Why not? I could see that. They do show a replay of Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. They need a nickname, because when Lee Johnson was with EJ and Duca, they were Lee J. These guys need to be like Lee Christian or something, because I'm tired of saying Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. But regardless, they show them winning last week over some jobbers. That was the tag team match they were talking about, and now they're contenders suddenly for World Tag Team titles. But okay, whatever. This is another tag team match. Billy Starks and Athena. They're facing off against some jobbers as well. Laney Luck, I know of her. Misa Kate on the left. Code of Honor adhered to, but immediately Athena and her minion lay waste to these girls. Pretty quick work of this. Here's a double submission. And it's a win for Athena and Billy Starks. They look good. They look strong. The world champion is here. And they had a nice time doing this, but I don't know. I think there was a little purpose to this, just to show them being united, I guess, completely. But still, in terms of the match, I won't give it any points. I'm moving on to a six-man. Volador Jr. is here at Magnus and Rugido. They are from CMLL, and they're facing Dark Order. So, all right, let's see. I will say this was a well-worked match. I don't really want to play much of it. In the end, Los Depredadores, as they call them, outclass Dark Order as Volador Jr. rolls up Evil Uno. Volador Jr. is the one without the mask here. And Evil Uno walks away disappointed. So they were trying to highlight, I guess the commentators were, how the six-man division in Ring of Honor is getting stronger, that this might be, I guess, a challenger for Sons of Texas. But okay, they showed them off. I'll give it a half point, I guess. I thought it was a decent match. I still didn't care about it too much. I could see these guys being in a 6-man title match for those world titles, I guess. But all right, I guess I gotta play this. It's a QT Marshall promo. Unfortunately, my rule here is I play all promos. I would skip this. I know he's got a feud with that actor, Paul Walker Hauser or whatever. And Paul Walker Hauser is going to be on Collision as a commentator. But fine, I'll listen to QT Marshall.
You know, I'm a really busy guy. I don't have time to live in the past. I live in the present. And Paul Walter Hauser, you should probably do the same. I mean, shouldn't you be celebrating the fact that you're like, what, the 5th top star on the new Naked Gun? But instead you're on the red carpet and you're talking about me. Look, Paul, it ain't my fault that you're an alcoholic. And for the last time, I didn't know that there was alcohol in that cup. And the moment I found out, I was horrified. And I've apologized over and over and over. Because at the end of the day, Paul, you're a fan. And there's nothing I love more than being nice to the fans. I mean, that's how this whole thing started, right? I was trying to be nice to a fan, and the entire thing blew up in my face. Lesson learned. But the more I think about this isn't about me at all. This is about Paul Walter Hauser and his fixation on telling the entire world that he's a professional wrestler. Paul, you're nothing more than an egomaniac. And why? Because you're some big movie guy who lives in a fantasy world? Listen, and I get it. In the movie world, you can write your own story. You can create your own ending. But this isn't a fantasy land, Paul. This is Ring of Honor, and I don't get paid to play pretend. I get paid to fight. So next week, I invite you to Roanoke, Virginia to come watch a true professional wrestler. In fact, I think I'm even going to roll out the red carpet for you to make you feel a little more comfortable. And then after I'm done, we can finally sit down and settle this misunderstanding once and for all.
You love to see the ROH channel. The evil smile on his face from QT Marshall. No points from me here. I'm not excited for QT feuding with an actor, a D-list actor or something. Okay, like I cut a promo before on one of my last live streams about how these wrestling companies need to stop hanging off the balls of minor celebrities that don't do anything for them. Back in the days, maybe when wrestling was fringe and you needed extra fans, but wrestling's got its fans now. I say stop disrespecting wrestling fans with these jelly rolls and people like this coming out of nowhere and, you know, taking this show, taking up time from people who deserve time on this show. That's my opinion on this. I should give it a thumbs down, but I'll be nice and I'll give an indifferent and I'll pass on it. But okay, next up we had a video package for Mascara Dorada. He's in tonight's main event as well. He's teaming with Mystico, and here is the main event. So it's Blake Christian and Lee Johnson, and they're facing off against Mascara Dorada, who this guy I guess has got some tattoos of something from CMLL. I can't make it out. And then there's Mystico. So would you look at this? Two of CMLL's biggest stars here in the Ring of Honor main event. Can you be more proud of Ring of Honor? But okay, I'm skipping ahead. Here's Johnson and Christian, both brash and arrogant, disrespectful youngsters here. Showed very little respect, but there's a spot for Christian that I usually give a half point to when he does that spinning dive over the top or through the middle rope. And then Christian was so proud of himself there. That was Mascara Dorada. Here is here is Blake Christian. I guess Mascara Dorada attempts a Splash Mountain Hurricane Rana, and Christian sleekly reverses with a backflip. I'm going to replay that. That was nice. Christian is so proud of himself there. All right, so here's Mascara Dorada again. Here's another highlight. I'll give a half point too. I'm trying to get to 5 points here. I'm trying to push this. But all right, here's the finisher. It's Sin Cara onto Lee Johnson, gets him into a submission, and Lee Johnson immediately taps out. I'll give a half point for the way he got him into that submission. And I guess I'll give a half point to the match, which means that I will come up short on my goal of 5 points for this Ring of Honor. You know what? Maybe I will get to 5 points because this fan, He actually knows the lyrics to Sin Cara's music, so I'll give it a half point. There you go. I'm at 5 points. Ring of Honor on Honor Club. There you go. This was a very skippable episode. I'm sorry. I heard MJF showed up on Ring of Honor to attack Mystico, but that was not on this show. I guess this was tape delayed, so we might see that next week. But regardless, all right, I'm going to move on to the last show we got to review today. It's from this past Saturday, AEW Collision. Let's run through some results and some promos, then we can get you out of here. You'll be all set for AEW Dynamite tomorrow. All right, I'm here at AEW Collision this past Saturday. Once we're done with this, we'll be all caught up with AEW and Ring of Honor and their universe. But all right, we're in Roanoke, Virginia today. Nice little crowd, nice little stadium here for Collision. And let's see what we got to open the show. It's a TNT title match. Kyle Fletcher, who says he's going to be the greatest TNT champion on his way to being the greatest of all time. He's here to defend and be a fighting champion. Paul Walter Hauser, who we just mentioned on ROH, QT Marshall just cut a promo on him. They're headed towards having a match, I guess, but he's on commentary today. That's all I'll mention about that. They do replay Kyle Fletcher becoming the TNT champion last week. Good episode of Collision last week. That match between Fletcher and Dustin Rhodes really stole the show, man. I mean, it made Collision better than Dynamite to me last week. I'm not expecting to see such a good Collision today, but regardless, let's go through the results. Tomohiro Ishii is here, and he is the challenger for Fletcher's TNT title. This feud stems from, they had a match, I guess, where Don Callis' family lost money, an 8-man tag, from what I remember. So there is a little bit of history here, but regardless, a lot of strong style stuff as Ishii is from New Japan. Suplex off the top rope. Something you wouldn't expect to see from Ishii, the way he looks. So, fine, I'll give that a half a point to kick off my Collision review. I'm skipping to the finish. It was a hard-fought match. Like I said, Kyle Fletcher here is going to no-sell this clothesline. I guess he's got heart himself or something. I don't know. I can't explain that. He is a heel, but he's going to put on his finisher here, the sheer drop brainbuster, and wins the match. I don't know. I was indifferent to this match. I thought it was a very skippable match. Didn't think there was any chance Ishii would win that, but I'm not giving any points to the match overall. We do got a promo by Kyle Fletcher post-match, so he grabs the microphone.
You have just witnessed history. This is the very first defense in what will go down as the greatest title reign in AEW history. And now, Ishii-san is the latest bona fide legend around the world that I have mopped the floor with. First, Adam Cole. Second, Dustin Rhodes. Third, Tomohiro Ishii. But that has me thinking, what is next for the Protostar?
Interesting that he lists Adam Cole as one of the people that he's taken down. Wonder if Adam Cole's cool with that. Maybe he thinks that he could give him a receipt when he finally comes back eventually. I don't know.
And that is where I start thinking about Forbidden Door. And being in here with Ishii-san makes me think about my New Japan days. And oh, I am presented with an opportunity. New Japan, I want you to send your pound-for-pound best at Forbidden Door to face me for the TNT Championship. But whoever it is does not matter, because the result will be the same. I will be holding this championship high above my head. And you and everyone around the world will have no choice but to say my full name.
Say my full name. All right. Well, it wasn't one of the best Kyle Fletcher promos. He didn't really go for the jugular. I won't give any points. But he did make an open challenge to New Japan wrestlers, interestingly. But okay, I got to move on to the next segment. Kyle Fletcher's guy, Don Callis, is backstage, so it looks like he's going to cut a promo. Let's see what he's got to say.
I'm so happy that Kyle Fletcher has beaten the great Ishii and embarked on his own journey to become the greatest TNT champion of all time, to fulfill the destiny of Kyle Fletcher. And it felt so good to me to beat a New Japan talent that I feel like I'd like a little more. You see, I had a big role to play in the success of New Japan several years ago. It's why they gave me this one-of-a-kind tie that I'm wearing tonight, because I'm feeling all things New Japan. In fact, let me send a little message out to the management team at New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to be here this week in Cincinnati. I would love it if you would send your best to face Kyle Fletcher. What are you afraid of, New Japan? Send me someone for Kyle. And after he's done embarrassing them, I will take off this one-of-a-kind tie, and I will choke whoever you send into oblivion as Kyle Fletcher and I march on into history. And New Japan and whoever you send will be on the ash heap of my history.
All right, no points for me on that Don Callis promo. Seemed pre-taped, I guess. Why else would he not be out there? I guess he just wasn't at this taping. They really wanted him to talk. I think they could have skipped that, to be honest. But all right, I'm moving on. It looks like the Gates of Agony earlier today were beating up on production personnel for no reason. And other production personnel run in and be like, can you stop this? And they keep getting their ass beat, which is a thing in AEW. If you work for production crew, it's just a dangerous job. You could get your ass kicked. And here's Ricochet cutting a promo, I guess, on beating up the production personnel.
You see, I have all of this ammo, I have all this firepower, and you think that I'm not about to use it. My patience is wearing thin, because I have been nothing but kind and respectful since I stepped foot into AEW, and we have been very transparent about our goal, and we have no issue dismantling everything in our path until we get the respect that we deserve. So you will give us what we want, or we will take it. And that, you see, that's not a request. That's a demand.
As they give one last move to another production personnel. All right. You know what? I'm going to give this a thumbs down. I'm sorry. Why are they beating up on random people in the back and then bragging about it? All right. We got another backstage segment here. It's Nick Wayne. This actually got cut off on my recording for some reason. I think Kip Sabian talked as well, but for some reason it started in the middle of Nick Wayne's promo, so I'll just play what I got.
Cage, constantly telling himself lies that he wants to hear, spewing lies about himself and everyone around him. How are we supposed to feel fulfilled when all you do is speak empty lies? If there's one part where you spoke remotely about the truth last week, it was when you said that I had every tool in my book to be a star. Where you went incorrect is the fact that I'm already a star. I'm a shooting star that was just now set free to soar. And if any of you are shocked or questioned as to why we did what we did to Christian Cage, you ain't seen nothing yet. Our next chapter is us ending the career of Christian Cage.
All right, well, I won't give any points for this. Looks like we're in for the long haul here. as Christian and Nick Wayne and the family, I guess, are going to keep feuding. I don't know. I almost want to give that a thumbs down just for the way Nick Wayne delivers the stuff. But okay, I'll be nice today. I'll give it nothing. I won't take any points off. We're already at -5. We got to pick up the pace. Let's see if we could get any points on the board here with this Megan Bayne match. She's here with Penelope Ford, and she's facing off against Emily Rose. Emily Rose, who looked like she didn't know what the hell she was doing in this match, takes a kick to the face. Bayne makes quick work of this with a running power bomb and a win over a jobber. So I can't give any points for this match either. I'm at an indifference, so 0 points for this. Still at a negative. But I'm moving on from this. We got a backstage segment. It's an interview with Brian Keith and Big Bill, the Learning Tree. Honestly, they should start to consider coming up with a new name, I think, because Chris Jericho is long in their rearview mirror, and that's just bad juju, being named after Chris Jericho. That's what basically we got our rating system, the -10 points thing, the Chris Jericho. I didn't used to have that. -5 was the lowest one. And then we got some learning tree segments where Robert, the Frozen Asian, who's a friend of the show, Hall of Famer, tried to put a rating of -99 thumbs downs for a Chris Jericho segment. So he wanted to go below 5. I made a new rating, Chris Jericho bad, for -10. I really should call it learning tree bad, because I think Chris Jericho overall wasn't so bad in his career, but the learning tree stuff at the end, whoa. But okay. Here they are, Bill and Keith. They still want to have their teeth into this AEW World Tag Team title picture. They haven't really been winning, but let's see how they could speak for themselves here, considering.
Brian Keith, Big Bill, you guys look
Pissed. Juice, see, I'm mad all the time. But this time you managed to piss off Big Bill. You put your nose in our business. You put your hands on Big Bill. You put your hands on me. And then you knocked us out of the tag team tournament. You crossed one line, and then you crossed another line. That's too many damn lines. Too many damn lines. So, Juice, the next time I see you, I'm going to walk a straight line directly at you and rip your head off. Juice Robinson, you've got exactly what's coming to you. Pew pew!
All right, I'll give it a half point. It has been a while since I've seen the last episode of Collision. The last one before this was not even on Saturday. It was on a Thursday. This will get us back to 0. But yeah, I'm kind of having trouble remembering why Bill and Keith are even feuding with the Bang Bang Gang. But okay, that was still a nice little promo. I gave it a half a point. Moving on, this is the match. So the Bang Bang Gang is here. They're facing off. It's only Austin and Juice Robinson, as the other two are still injured. They've got cardboard cutouts of them. But actually, this is just Juice Robinson. So he's in a match today, growing his beard out a little bit. Looks better. He's in a match with Ricochet, but this is going to have a lot of interference because Ricochet's got his boys. I'm skipping forward as Toa Leona comes out. The Gates of Agony, who are Ricochet's henchmen. And the interference here is from Bishop Khan on the other side. As the ref is distracted, Bishop Khan enters to attack Juice Robinson. This gives Ricochet the advantage he needs for a Tope Con Hero, I guess you could call that. But all right, that gives Ricochet a little bit of an advantage. More interference here. It's Bishop Khan as he gets on the ring apron. He's pulled down by Austin Gunn, but he ends up, Austin Gunn, eating a pounce from Toa Leona. And from that interference, we get the other interference from the other side, which is the promo we just saw where Big Bill enters, nails Juice Robinson in the face, costs him the match basically as Ricochet gets up. Surprised to see that he's in such a great position, hits his finisher, and wins the match over Juice Robinson. So there you go. Nice win for Ricochet, I guess, as the Learning Tree have gotten back at the Bang Bang Gang. It looks like we're headed towards a tag team match with that. All right, so for this match, do I give this anything in terms of points? I would say no. I'm still going to give this an indifference because Ricochet I don't know, cheating a lot, lots of cheating, celebrating to, to acting like he did something here when he didn't really do anything. But okay, I'm still not very fond of this feud, this Bang Bang Gang Learning Tree feud. I guess I like the characters involved, but they haven't really made me care or even remember what the hell happened. So, okay, I'm going to move on though. I got a video package here. It looks like Athena. They're going to highlight Athena as she is getting ready to take on Toni Storm for the AEW World title. This is the Ring of Honor champion, so they're trying to talk her up here. Let's see what they got.
Athena's claims may seem exaggerated, but her stats absolutely back it up. There is no one like Athena. Her Ring of Honor singles record is a staggering 67-0. Since winning the Ring of Honor Women's Championship in 2022, Athena has had 30 title defenses, beating 25 different opponents, including 3 former AEW champions. Athena beat Alex Windsor on her 959th day as champion and counting, the longest title reign in Ring of Honor history. At All In Texas, Athena outlasted 11 other opponents to secure an AEW Women's World Championship shot. She has had only one previous shot at that title. She wasn't defeated, but she didn't win. The champion then, Toni Storm.
Athena Elite Wrestling takes center stage.
All right, a lot of good information there. I like that, actually. I'll give it a thumbs up. I think that's the type of video packages they should do more often, talk up their wrestlers. That was well done, like a Royal Rumble. It had stats and all that. So, all right. I'm moving on to Max Caster Open Challenge Series. He's getting interviewed backstage by Lexi Nair. So let's see what he's got.
Excuse me, the best wrestler alive, Max Caster. Last week you faced Roosh on Collision, and while maybe not a win, you at least scored a moral victory?
No. If anyone had the moral victory, it was Roosh. He's the one who survived 5 against the best wrestler alive, and Roosh, I took you to your limit, but you didn't beat me because you can't be better than the best. You just can't.
Well, afterwards we saw LFI jump you before AR Fox and Jet Speed made the save.
Right, and that makes sense too. If you want to mess with the best, you need a 3-on-1 attack. But Jet Speed, AR Fox, thanks for the help, but next time, no thanks, because you're looking live at the best wrestler alive. So, yeah, excuse me, we're just going to continue it on today. Another open challenge. We'll see who can survive. And Lexi, for the people here in Roanoke, I'm going to warm up right now. Hold that.
Okay.
Move that.
Let's go. Max, you're the best wrestler.
Let's go, Max. You are the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You are the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You are the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You are the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You are the best wrestler alive. Yes. Give me that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, what do you want me to say? I can't give any points to that segment either. I almost want to give it a thumbs down, but I guess I'll say indifferent because it was kind of funny that he didn't thank Speedball and Kevin Knight for helping him last week. He's like, thanks, but no thanks. I got this. I'm the best wrestler alive. But all right, God, they got to end this whole thing with Max Caster sometime soon because this has been going on so long and it's so bad. But regardless, let's move along. I think we got a 6-man tag here tonight. It's Stokely's warm-up match for his match on Wednesday with Edge. So he's going to be one of 3 members of a team with FTR, and they're going to face off against jobbers, whoever these guys are. I am not going to really focus in on them. Stokely on crutches for the match. Tony's saying that he's not hurt, that he's faking it. He throws the crutch down for the match, does the match, then he'll pick it up later as he's all fired up. So Stokely, somewhere in the middle of the match, does tag in and starts slapping the guy in the ring. As soon as the guy gets up and starts to fight back, Stokely runs away and tags out. So that's basically what happened in this match. Later, the FTR set up Stokely for a pile driver, a stuffed pile driver. Stokely had a hard time figuring a launching point, but they get it done. Gets a little confidence boosting pin here, and he's ready for his match with Cope as he has defeated some jobbers. But all right, at the end of the match, gets back on his crutch and limps off. I'm indifferent to this. Like I said, this could have been funny maybe if it was worked differently, but this is just going to be a spectacle for Edge and Stokely. It didn't really become a serious feud at all. But next, we got Daniel Garcia. He's out here for commentary, and he's going to watch Hechicero versus AR Fox, because Hechicero is in a match with him next week in a 4-way for a shot at the IWGP title, the New Japan title. So that match is going to consist of Nigel McGuinness and Lee Moriarty, by the way, but I'll get to that later. Let's get to the highlights for this AR Fox match and Hechicero. AR Fox always, as Wrestle Tati would say, putting in God's work. Shout out to that channel. That's a good YouTube channel, Wrestle Tati. But I'll give a point to AR Fox's nice looking dive. Here's a nice looking swanton. I like how he does that, but he sells very well here. So Hechicero gets the knee up. I'll give a half point to AR Fox just for selling. As we move forward into the match, in the end, Fox taps out to a rear chin lock, and that's it, as Hechicero gets the win. Lee Moriarty looking on from the back, and so do Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, who will face off with Hechicero next week for a chance at the New Japan title, the IWGP title, at Forbidden Door. But okay, did I like this match? No, I'm not going to give it any points. I gave a point to AR Fox for the over-the-top rope dive, but that's about it. Didn't really care for the match overall. Next up, we had a video package, which I don't really have audio for some reason. The audio didn't come through on my recording, but it's Harley Cameron. She's acting crazy. She had a broken nose. She's wearing a mask. It's very artistic promo, but I can already tell I wouldn't really care for it, to be honest. So I'm moving past it. I haven't seen it. I probably won't see it, but let's move on. Let's move on. Next, we got a 6-woman tag. It's who are they? Triangle of Madness, Sky Blue, Tekla, and Julia Hart against 3 baby faces, Queen Aminata, Willow, and Time Mello. So, all right, here's a funny spot with Sky Blue getting triple teamed here. I thought that looked funny, but you know what? I'll even give that a half point. That was a nice little spot. That was a nice spot for a picture. But I'm skipping to the finish here. Ty Mello is going to take the pin as a double team move from Julia Hart, and Sky Blue sends Ty Mello to the canvas, and Julia Hart holds back Queen Aminata, who tries to break the pin, but it's a win for Triangle of Madness, and that match won't really get any points from me, but good for Triangle of Madness. I guess they got to get them on the board, get them headed in the right direction. But all right, I'm moving on. I got a video package for Skyflight, who are Scorpio Sky's new stable. They're teaming up with, there they are. They're teaming up with Top Flight and Layla Gray and Christopher Daniels. So they've got something to say. They got a promo to cut, it looks like. Let's check it out.
Don Callis, for everything the family has done in AEW, the one thing they couldn't do is ruin the debut of Skyflight.
Maybe if you and your lads could take care of a little business.
That's right.
Don, you put money on our head? Well, I think you need to go get you a refund.
You shot and you missed. But they say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So Don, keep shooting, and you better tighten that aim up, because Skyflight, we ain't going nowhere.
All right, Skyflight, I'm indifferent to them bragging about thwarting Don Callis family and Shane Taylor Promotions. That's all they did today. They could have had a little match for them or something, keep them rolling. But all right, Stokely and FTR, they're happy about their 6-man tag team win over the Jobbers. Let's see as they encourage Stokely ahead of his match with Edge.
Hell yes! Hell yeah! Look at you doing this! Hell yeah!
Oh, no.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Adam Copeland, you saw what I did out there, and guess what? You did that. You're the one who turned me into this monster. Wednesday on Dynamite, I shared my problems with the world, but guess what? Next Wednesday, they're all one of them will be solved. Because after I beat you, Adam Copeland, I'm gonna make you my hoe.
And after we are done with you, Adam Copeland, we can focus on what actually matters. Going and winning this AEW World Tag Team Tournament, going to Forbidden Door, and becoming 3-time AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I understand that we've been having a lot of fun, we've been having a lot of laughs, but I want to get serious right here for a second, okay? The most important thing in my life, forget my ugly wife, forget my brat daughter, the most important thing in—
What the fuck? Forget my ugly wife and forget my brat daughter? Come on, Dax. What kind of jab is that at your wife? Come on, I'm taking 2 points off for Dax Harwood there. Don't cut a promo on your wife. She doesn't have a chance to give you a receipt.
My life is the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The reason I breathe, the reason I live, the reason I wake up every single day is to become the AEW World Tag Team Champion.
Doesn't seem like it, man.
So, Brodito, you're a stepping stone. You're nothing, okay? You're a stepping stone to the Hurt Syndicate. You like to hurt people, huh? You'll never make progress. Cut that.
Yikes. Alright, well, I'll land on an indifferent there. I liked Stokely's, but I didn't like Dax Harwood's promo, really, about his wife and how it means more to him to win the world title, the world tag team titles for AEW. Like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Not a believable promo to me. But I'm moving on to Max Caster's Open Challenge Series. I'm kind of getting tired of these segments. I'm getting to the point where I might even start skipping them if they don't cut this off, which I don't skip anything in my reviews, but fine. Let's see what we got today.
Roanoke! You are looking live at the best wrestler alive. I gotta hand it to Roosh. Last week on Collision, he became the first person to survive 5 against the best wrestler alive. But Roosh, you did not beat me because you can't be better than the best.
That is true. Roosh did actually last the whole 5 minutes. He was the only one who didn't beat Max Caster in the allotted 5 minutes.
All the people here in Virginia know that, and I know that all the Maximaniacs here in the Star City of the South want to do one thing and one thing only, and that's chant my name. Hold this. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler alive. Let's go, Max. You're the best wrestler. Ho, 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 ho.
This can't be what Max Caster gets remembered for, man. He's got to change his gimmick to something else at some point. Oh, my God.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Guys, that was... That was better. But this is the Platinum Max Open Challenge, so let's put 5 minutes on the clock. And let's see who can survive 5 with the best wrestler alive.
All right. All right, I'm sorry. Thumbs down. Gotta take another point off for this Max Caster promo, unfortunately. But the challenger ends up being today Katsuyori Shibata. Okay, so this lasts a little over 2 minutes, couple minutes. Shibata hits the PK, the penalty kick, I guess, is what his finishing move is. And he puts Max Caster away with that move. So, all right, I'm sorry. No points for me on this match at all. Short little squash match. But there is an afterbirth as Shibata tries to show respect to Max Caster. LFI hit the ring. So LFI, I was trying to debate in my head whether this is funny that LFI are having an issue with Max Caster. They beat him down for literally no good reason. I guess they were confused by the rules last week of a 5-minute open challenge when they wanted to beat him up more. Anyways, out come Jet Speed despite Max Caster not wanting their help. They run off LFI, but it's more to do with their feud with LFI as they have a match tonight. These guys have beef from last week, and their match is right coming up next. But okay, the Afterbirth. Will I give that any points for them attacking Max Caster? I'll say no. There wasn't really no good reason. If you could think of a reason, it's kind of silly, but regardless. Anyways, here comes Hangman Page. He's gonna be Jet Speed's Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight's partner in a 6-man tag against La Facción and Gobernables, 3-on-3. So the world title, the world champion is here for the Collision audience, and they're going to get a chance to see Hangman Page. Roosh, though, is in the match, and as you know, he backs down from no man. But this Collision will end with the babyfaces beating this heel team, as Hangman Page with the Orihari moonsault here for the Collision audience. Yeah, Tony Khan is not going to let this Collision audience go home sad today. The babyfaces are going to win this. I'll just ruin it for you. This move from Dralistico, though, man, I can't explain it, but I got to give it a point, because he gets Kevin Knight in a weird Canadian Destroyer off the top rope looking thing. So I'll give that a point, get some points back for this match, for this episode of Collision. And it's Beast Mortos, and he's got that look on his face. If you don't know what that look is, it's when he knows he's going to do this twisting corkscrew dive through the middle ropes. That deserves a point, because that's a great move from Roosh. From Beast Mortos, I'm sorry. Here's a dive from Roosh over the top rope. Got to give Roosh another half point. Don't see him dive over the top rope too often. Here's Mike Bailey. Another spot here for me. Half point. Goddamn, moonsault onto the floor. Got to give Mike Bailey a half point there. And then the ending, it's a buckshot from Hangman onto Dralistico, and they win the match. Funny sign here I saw from Mike Bailey, though. Speedball. Jake something misses you from TNA. So I'll give a little half point to the TNA reference. Nice that there's a hardcore wrestling fan in the audience. But okay, that's the episode of Collision. 6.5 points. It was teetering on being negative for a while. I think that's a low score, 6.5 points. I will say this was a very skippable episode of Collision, unfortunately. But regardless, you're all caught up now. You know everything that happened on this show, and we're ready for AEW Dynamite tomorrow night. All right, if all goes well, I plan on coming back tomorrow morning to review SmackDown and Raw. So SmackDown from last Friday, Raw from this past Monday, and we will continue our journey through wrestling history. But thank you for listening. I hope this was useful to somebody. Hopefully somebody's at work. Maybe they could kill some time catching up on some wrestling if they missed any of it. Subscribe to our channel, my live streams. I review every segment in wrestling in American television. And we also do the Malapert Smart podcast from time to time. We had one last week. We discussed John Cena's face turn. If anyone missed that, you can go back and check it out. But we will be back with more consistent Malapert Smart podcasts in the coming future. As of right now, check out the live streams tabs. You'll get all my reviews. But all right, that's it for now. We'll see you on the next one.